We're going to be joined in just a second by Alan Dershowitz, professor at Harvard Law School, of course, and the author of a great book, which we've talked about with him, Taking the Stand, My Life in the Law. And I want to ask him, certainly, to start about the allegations that in a particular town in Ukraine, there are flyers out there that are telling Jews they have to register. They have to register to be as Jews. And we all know what that smacks of. We all know where that takes us back to. A very dark period in time known as Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. And of course, Jews back then were made to wear yellow stars. And of course, you know, we all know what happened. What did you just say, Adam? Okay, let's go to Alan Dershowitz right now. Hello, sir. Hello, Alan. All right, truth be known, Alan Dershowitz is going through security at the airport. You know, O.J. Simpson, not to make an analogy to Alan Dershowitz and O.J. Simpson, although, of course, there is a connection. O.J. Simpson used to run through airports. Alan Dershowitz is now, you know, walking through an airport. Hello, Alan. No. Okay, we're going to give him another minute. And another issue I want to talk about with Alan is this really troubling issue that Dick Morris broke right here on Newsmax, on Newsmax.com, on Newsmax Television, on America's Forum, regarding the campaign that's underway. And Governor Cuomo has just signed off on this in New York. And it's to reform the electoral college process. And it's a very, very dangerous concept. It's the National Popular Vote Bill. It now enters New York into an interstate agreement with California, Washington, D.C., Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington to award their 29 electoral votes, 29 in the case of New York, to the candidate, the presidential candidate who garners the most votes across each of the 50 states. But Alan Dershowitz joins us right now. Hello, Alan.
Hi, how are you? You just got through security.
I know. I told everybody, and we plugged your book. We talked about the book. You're all introduced, so we're ready to go. Let me start with the troubling news out of Ukraine, which is being denied by Russian officials. But John Kerry confirmed it. Our ambassador confirmed it. We've seen the flyer telling Jews they have to register. What went through your mind when you heard about this, Alan?
Well, you know, I've spent a lot of time in the Ukraine. In my book, Taking the Stand, I describe how I represented the president of the Ukraine, a man named Kuchma, and went to Kiev. And what I saw didn't surprise me because, you know, the hero of current-day Ukraine, the hero is a man named Khmelnytsky who murdered 100,000 Jewish children and babies. And you see a big statue of Khmelnytsky in the middle of Kiev downtown. He's on the $5 bill. And, you know, they still don't get it when it comes to Jews. And both sides, I remember the Ukrainian nationalists participated actively in the murder of Jews during the Holocaust. And, of course, the former Soviet Union, the Russians, discriminated against Jews, persecuted them, had pogroms. So, you know, both sides of this dispute have a problem when it comes to dealing with Jews. And whether or not this is an authentic pamphlet or a fake, they know that they can play this card and get a lot of resonance from many of the citizens. So the problem is a very, very serious one. And I have to tell you, I have a real complaint against the Obama administration. The Obama administration has complained that Israel hasn't actively supported them at the UN. Don't they realize that Israel has a responsibility, first to its own people, and second to the Jews of the Ukraine? And putting Israel in a position where they have to take sides on this dispute puts the Jewish community at tremendous risk there. And you would think the Obama administration would be a little bit more sensitive to that. After all, Israel's support in the UN doesn't much matter. They don't carry any weight at the UN at all.
Right.
But if Israel takes sides, it really puts at risk the lives of Ukrainian Jews. So please, Obama administration, lay off. Let the Israelis do what they have to do to protect their own interests, and don't make demands on them at this very sensitive point, because it could increase this kind of thing that we're seeing in the Ukraine.
Very good point. Excellent point, Alan, because there has been criticism from the administration in the General Assembly vote on the Ukrainian situation, and I haven't heard that addressed in this manner yet. Okay, now let me ask you about something that I find very troubling. I'm really anxious to know what you feel about this. Governor Cuomo in New York has signed on to this interstate agreement, if you will, with the California, Washington, D.C., Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington State. They're going to give, New York's going to give all of their electoral votes in the Electoral College, 29 for New York, to the candidate who gets the most votes nationally, gets the most popular vote. I mean, is this constitutional?
Well, it certainly violates the spirit of the Constitution. Plainly, the founders of the Constitution did not intend for there to be a conspiracy among certain states to essentially abolish the Electoral College. If you want to abolish the Electoral College, there's a process for doing it. You pass a constitutional amendment. That amendment probably would not succeed. But to use this method of circumvention, it seems to me, would encourage other states to use other methods of circumventing the Constitution when it came to racial equality or other things. So I think it's quite short-sighted, and I do not support it.
We only have 30 seconds. Can this work? In other words, can they get away with this in 2016, or will it be challenged in court by that time, do you think?
No question. It will be challenged in court. Impossible to predict what the outcome would be. The states do have the power to determine how their electors vote, but they have never before tried to do it in this manner. So it's unpredictable how the courts would decide the case.
Alan,
but it's trouble.
Have a safe trip, Alan. Thank you for joining us, and have a happy Passover the rest of the way, sir.
Thank you, and happy Passover and Easter to everybody.
Thank you. Alan Dershowitz, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Got a lot covered there in a short amount of time. And we do wish him a safe trip. All right, when we come back, it's the Malzberg panel. You will not want to miss it, because I'm not going to miss it. So why should you want to miss it? We're coming back. I'll tell you who's here when we come back. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax Television.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.